Are you ready to transform your life with the power of food? Well, look no further. Welcome to Ask Juice Doctor, the ultimate source of natural health wisdom. Erin Warden, also known as the Juice Doctor, will introduce you to the incredible world of health and wellness through food. Our special host for the live questions and answers, the clinical nutritionist, detox specialist, and natural health researcher himself, the Juice Doctor. Together with the Juice Doctor, let us uncover the amazing potential of food to help you overcome illness, shed those extra pounds, increase vitality, and ultimately live a longer, healthier life. In this live questions and answers, we will be tackling two challenging conditions, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, with a natural approach that's nothing short of revolutionary. And joining us are special guests who have not just managed, but triumphed over these conditions using the incredible power of food. These guests are living proof that food can be your secret weapon against chronic illness. But here's the exciting part. We want to answer your questions. Join us via the link below, and let's make this a truly interactive experience. The Juice Doctor is here to answer all your questions. So, whether it's about ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, or any aspect of natural health and nutrition, this is your chance to get answers. Get ready for an incredible journey into the world of wellness and healing through food. Remember, the power to transform your health is in your hands, and the Juice Doctor is here to guide you every step of the way. Join us for an unforgettable adventure on Ask Juice Doctor. Join us live on Ask Juice Doctor, an event every Thursday at 7 p.m. Natural Health Solutions. Special live guests. Questions and answers. Your health, your life, your future. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Okay, I think you got me this time. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, I want to see somebody give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat so we know that we are live and you are in the right place at the right time. So give me a one in the chat if you can hear me, just so I know that we are broadcasting live from our studio in the sun. Let's have a look. Someone can see me or can hear me. Right. I need to see some yeses in the chat so I can know that we are broadcasting and you can actually hear me. If you can see where the chat is, it's just to your right. Oh, you can't hear me? No. Okay, let's try this over here. One in the chat. Now, just give me a yes if you can hear me. Gloria, that's a one. Let me get a yes. Let's be clear. I want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear so we start off on the same page. Right, somebody give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Jerry, you can't hear me. Okay. Okay, Squara, you can hear me. Yes, Jerry, you can hear me. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, welcome to the Ask Juice Doctor live Q&A. It's our first show and we are doing it live from our remote studio. It wasn't the place we planned to broadcast from because we left to head to our actual studio and the rain was just horrendous. It was horrendous rain. And I believe it's because of some flooding on the roads that we actually had to turn back and use our alternative location. So if the lighting is not what you are accustomed to with our broadcast, do forgive me for that oversight. Next time we'll make sure we have lighting in all our locations. So welcome to Ask Juice Doctor. It's our first of many. We are here to empower you, to help you to attain freedom through well-being. That's our vision, attaining and promoting freedom through well-being and helping you to put your health back in your hands. Our mission is to create 1 million health ambassadors worldwide. That means people like yourselves who have been on a journey to achieve high levels of health and they've been able to attain a level of freedom through well-being, and they've gone on to share that experience with others, whether they've done it through using one of our programs or doing one of our detox programs or following one of our courses. But either way, they've got themselves in a position where they've been able to attain freedom through well-being, and they're going to share that with other people, like-minded health seekers or people that are suffering, so that they can help us to create a global community of health conscious and health proactive people. Our objective is to help to show people that those who are suffering in silence, that there is actually a way out, and more importantly, a natural way out that they can observe and follow once they are aware. You know, there's a man that says, he who has hope has everything. He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. So once there's a will, there's a way, and where there is hope, there is life, and where there is life, there is hope. So we're really grateful for those of you that have logged on today, and we hope that you will share these videos and share these broadcasts and share these shows as far and wide as possible, because the information we are going to share is going to really empower you and hopefully inspire you to take your health to a higher level. Okay, so let's not waste any time. Today we have a really packed show. We've only got 60 minutes to try and get through all of it. So we're going to start off with our guest. We have some really powerful guests in the studio today. We're going to show you how the power of food, once it's used in the right way, you can actually turn around almost any health condition or any kind of debilitating situation. And we've seen it time and time again in our experience over the years, where people who thought there was no way out, there was no hope, there was no way back from where they had found themselves, but through wisdom, through applying the knowledge that they've gained and acquired, and using food along with detox, dietary changes, and lifestyle change, they have been able to achieve some phenomenal results. So we're here to help impart some of that information and to exchange some of those experiences with you, so that you can also be empowered and inspired to do the same yourself. Before we go any further, we have to make sure we do our disclaimer. The information you're going to hear today is purely for information purposes. It's not designed to replace medical advice or guidance. If you are suffering with a medical condition, we do advise you to seek your help of your GP. And if you are going to embark on a detox or lifestyle change, make sure you consult with your GP or your doctor first. Now, this particular condition, as we said, it's a very challenging condition that we've seen most people have not been able to return from. But those that have come to us and have tapped into our knowledge and expertise and wisdom in the understanding of how the mechanics of the body works, we have been able to help the body to achieve some remarkable and phenomenal results. So I'm going to start off with our first guest, Paulette. Paulette is a major overcomer. She is a My Healthcare ambassador. She is a health champion. She is a mother of two. And I wouldn't even say she's a survivor. I'm going to just call her a powerful advocate of natural healing in its element. She came to us a number of years back with a serious case of ulcerative colitis. And she was undergoing a number of different tests at the hospitals and a number of different medication programs that she said, in her opinion, weren't really having that much of an impact. And I'll let her explain that to you a little bit more in detail. But one of the things that I really wanted to stress was the impact of food on that particular condition. When I say Paulette was quite an extreme case, her case of ulcerative colitis was quite severe and it was quite bad, and it was impacting her whole life. She wasn't able to go out, she wasn't able to enjoy her food, wasn't able to enjoy the restaurants and social life that most people do. But one of the things that we discovered that was most transformational was the impact that we understood of how her food and her diet was having a direct impact on the state of her health. And once we got to understand what she was actually eating and ingesting, we then were able to use that as a blueprint to reverse engineer the process and bring that colitis back into balance. So I'm going to kind of work in reverse. I'm going to take you to how poor it was at the end of her program. Once she'd finished going through the detox, the dietary change, the lifestyle change, and how she'd come, because we invited all of our clients that had gone through that particular program at that time to come back and to bring their guilty pleasure and to explain to us, what was the thing that you were addicted to the most and how you were able to overcome that addiction using the program. And these are the things that were mostly contributing to Paulette's condition. It was the way she was eating, it was the food she was eating, it was the choices she was making, it was the lifestyle she was living that had contributed to her condition. So I'm going to quickly take you just to that end part, just so you can see how different, I would just use that term, how different Paulette's lifestyle was, which we can understand why it would have ended up where it was. And then we'll bring in Paulette to take us through how she arrived at that place.
Right, I'm a junk food connoisseur. I can tell you, let me rephrase that. I could tell you anything that you want to know about junk food. Yeah. These are my guilty pleasures. Well, these are two of my guilty pleasures. Were two of my guilty pleasures. Were. I could tell you how to put these in the microwave. Cookies.
I was thinking about me in microwave.
Okay. I could put these in the microwave on a plate, three of them on a plate. Sprinkle some of these on top, just for about 30 seconds. Just to melt it a little bit. And then you get a fork, and then you eat it. Sometimes I would have Skittles on top. It used to taste really nice. Yeah, cream's good. Yeah, whipped cream, ice cream, vanilla ice cream with brandy in it. Lovely. Chocolate sprinkled on top. Excellent. I could tell you where to get triple cookies from, the biggest packets, the sweetest packets. I could tell you what sweets to put together, put them in the microwave, put them in the oven, how to make them. Then I could tell you anything about sweet food. I used to eat these, I could finish these in the night. With a pack of Skittles, packets probably about 4 packets of ready salted crisps. Yeah, and that would be after I'd eaten Chinese or fish and chips. And I could do that. So when my kids used to come and say, "Can I have a bit of this?" I used to be like, "Yeah, if I want chocolate, they must want chocolate too." And my cupboard, I had a cupboard. It's packed with. Used to have a cupboard that was packed with sweets, crisps, chocolates, cakes, anything sweet and gooey. The sweet and fudge. I love fudge. And when the kids were in bed, I'd open up this cupboard, sit there munching. 2 o'clock in the morning, waking up again. I had a sugar rush. My sugar level was low. I needed to go in the cupboards and get my sugar.
Need some sugar.
Need some sugar. Anyway.
Did you feel sick when you ate all that?
No, I just wanted more. And then I'd get up in the morning and on the way to work I'd have a Kit Kat for breakfast. That used to be my breakfast. And then for lunch I would have a nice big fat something, creamy something, everything had to have mayonnaise on it. And then I'd eat chocolate. And then I'd have a fizzy drink. And then I'd go home and repeat the process again. No. Then I'd go home and repeat the process again. Anyway, then I was feeling really, really ill, and I told myself, I need more sugar. Every time I was ill, my sugar level was low, so I need more sugar. Eat more sugar. And then, Christmas, my doctors said to me that my kidneys and livers were breaking down, on top of everything else. And I thought, I don't know what they're talking about. And then they tried to give me more medication, and so I ate more. I ate more sugar. My intestines felt like they were ripping out of my stomach. They really, really did. I could put my hand on my stomach and feel my intestines. And anyway, things were going really, really bad, going downhill fast. And then I went on the Inspired Biz with Jackie, met Evan, and he said to me, he met me that first day and he looked at me and he went, "Yeah, you've got a problem with your liver." And I was like, even though I knew it. But anyway, things started to get really bad. I wasn't taking these tablets, I was feeling really, really ill. So I then rang Ellen and he came around, done the scan, it wasn't good. Started the program. Now, I don't need none of that. I'm microwave. I have these. I have spinach, I have kale, I have cucumber, I have celery, I have beetroot, I have avocado, I eat salmon, cut out all my meat. I don't have any sweet things whatsoever.
Wow.
I don't have any dairy whatsoever. I don't have any red meat. I just have all healthy foods, and I can't believe that I've cut it all out. I can't believe that I actually sit here and eat all that food that I used to refer to as rabbit food. Yeah. I can't believe that diet could make me feel like this. So for the first time in 10 years, in 6 weeks, I felt well, whereas 10 years, I was just ill all the time, constantly in pain and really, really ill. And now I feel like this. And my medication, Aaron took my medication off of me. I think it was the second week. He came back with the bag and went put them in here, and I was like, here ain't going, cat. So they was all gone. So I'm medication free as well.
Wow.
So how did your illness affect your family?
That was amazing. I'm still cringing today as I see that. Like, microwave Skittles, chocolates in the microwave. I've never seen that before, but this is what you call an extreme case of sugar craving. So I was really, really happy to see Paulette overcome this particular cringe. So I'm going to welcome Paulette to the show today so she can share some of her thoughts behind it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, hi. Oh my goodness, I am cringing. I can't believe that was me. Oh my goodness. Oh dear.
But
oh gosh, I forgot about that video. Oh wow.
It was powerful because we had to capture that, because if I explained that to somebody, nobody would ever believe me that anybody could eat like that. But more importantly, that your food that you were eating was what was responsible for your inflammation or the Crohn's that you actually experienced. So just a quick background as to how you arrived at that point and what was going on in your life at that time.
I knew that at that time I wasn't feeling well, but I'd eaten like that for such a long time that just pumping myself with more sugar, and the worse I felt, the more sugar I'd eat. And I thought, it can't possibly be sugar that's making me feel like this, I'm really not well. But I didn't know what was wrong, and I didn't realize I was actually poisoning myself with the amount of sugar that I was taking in. And you came along at the right time, Jackie introduced me to you at the right time. Otherwise, I don't know where I would be today, So after meeting you, and I remember that first day of you coming round to the house and saying, I'm taking your medication. And I was like, what are you talking about? No, the doctor gave those to me. And you said, put them in this bag. And you said to me, if in 2 weeks you don't feel fine, I'll give you back your medication. So I said, okay. So you took the medication and I started the program. And what was meant to be, I think, 3 weeks of juicing ended up being 12 weeks or something, because I just loved it so much. And I couldn't believe how it transformed my whole system and how it made me feel, yeah. And looking back at that video, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes. I'm so glad that we captured it, because you'd never, at that part of your whole journey, would have just been forgotten, and you'd have never realized how much of an impact those foods and those choices were having on you. And I'm sure people seeing it are probably living that life themselves now, and now see that as a warning that this is where you could end up. You could actually end up having ulcerative colitis instead of, you'd be like, why me?
Of course, yeah.
So let's tell us a little bit about the symptoms you were going through. What was it like, once you were diagnosed? What were you going through? What were you experiencing?
So once I was diagnosed, and before I was diagnosed, I was feeling my stomach was constantly extended. I was nauseous all the time. I was tired. I was having really bad headaches. My eyes would literally ache. Everything I ate, my intestines just felt like they were twisting in two. And then my skin just became quite dry. I wasn't sleeping. And and I had, I was constantly in the bathroom. And, sometimes I remember one day, I think I had about 13 bouts of diarrhea in the one day. And then this just continued. And then the bleeding came from the back passage. And, then things were just getting really, really bad. And I didn't know what it was. So yeah, by the time I'd gone to the doctors and they'd ran quite a few tests, they didn't know what it was themselves. And I think the last stage I remember just before being diagnosed, when they said to me, okay, we've tested you for everything. We can't find anything wrong. We are going to test you for bowel cancer. And that was when everything hit home. And I thought, wow, really? So luckily we had private healthcare. So we used the private healthcare and I was seen within 2 days. And I remember the doctor sitting on the end of my bed after the procedure. And I remember waking up and I saw his face and I thought, this isn't good. And he said, I've got good news and bad news. So I said, okay. So he said, the good news is you don't have bowel cancer. The bad news is that you have Crohn's, but you have Crohn's colitis. So I said, what is that? I didn't know what it was, never heard of it. And he explained it and then handed me some leaflets and things and never once mentioned about changing diet or anything like that. I was given medication to take. I was on steroids and medication didn't work at first. So they kept swapping and changing it. So went through a couple of years of just different meds all the time. So yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult. I was in and out of work and I was just ill, just so ill.
So when you started the program, what do you remember about the program? What did the program entail for you, your lifestyle program, once you started the juices and getting on that journey?
Yeah, once I started it and I got onto it, at first I didn't believe in it because I just thought, how can food do that? This isn't about food. They don't know what causes Crohn's. Nobody knows what causes Crohn's, and there isn't a cure for it. So, meeting you and then you saying to me that, the juices and things like that will help and I need to change my lifestyle. For me, it was a last straw. So actually starting the program, I think week 2, I remember you coming to my house and saying to me, oh my goodness, you've got color back into your skin and you look different and your hair was healthy and your skin was glowing and, and I thought, and I felt so good. And then once I started believing that, oh my goodness, food does change the way you are. I think I got to week 6 and I felt like a professional. I was like, at first to start with, you were bringing the juices to the door. And then afterwards I started to make my own. And I knew what I was doing because I'd learned that from you. So I started to make my juices. My whole diet had changed. I'd gone completely plant-based. And within 6 weeks, looking at me and looking at sweets and stuff like that, it was like, did I really used to eat that? And it all just changed. Everything changed. And it just kind of went on from there. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. You actually reminded me, I didn't realize that I was bringing so many juices because back then we used to actually make the juices when we had the brand.
That's right. Yeah.
We used to make the juices, deliver them,
Right.
which was quite a really personal service. We don't do that anymore, mind you, but it was because we found people were almost and we weren't enabling them, but we were almost disempowering them by making the juices for them, and not everyone was right for you to take the initiative to think, well, let's make the juices ourselves. So as soon as they finished their program of us providing the juices, they went back to their old habits. So we've turned things around where we provide the products and we provide the supplements and we provide the recipes for juices, and they make the juices part of that lifestyle change. So when they finish the program, they now have that additional skill of knowing the impact of using food and how to put the smoothies together and the ingredients to use to actually bring about that state of balance internally. So that's quite a walk down memory lane. I just you bringing that, and I was like, wow, we used to bring the juices. So that's it. So now you've moved on. You've overcome the Crohn's, colitis. That was what 4, 5, 6 years ago. And how are you now? How are you functioning now?
So I went on for quite a few years, like being plant-based and things like that. And I remember going on holiday one day and just thinking, oh, I can eat what I want, I've been fine. And that wasn't the case. And I ended up making myself ill again. And I don't know if you remember, I actually came back to you. And then I went on to the Alexa and a lot of the other vitamins that you provided. Now, I do have my moments when I think, no, I'm going to eat that. I want to eat that. I'm having that, you know. But I also know that if I have too much of something and how much, I know how it's going to make me feel, you know. So, yeah, I think I know how to manage it. And I'm an expert of my own Crohn's, yeah, because everybody's Crohn's is different and everyone has to deal with it. You know, some foods that make me ill may not make somebody else ill. And, you know, Crohn's is normally in the small intestines. I have it in the small intestines, but also in the large intestines, which is where they then come into the Crohn's colitis. So fortunately now I'm not as ill as I was back then, but yeah, I know what to do. I know what I'm supposed to do if I begin to feel unwell. And sometimes it is difficult staying on track. You know, it is difficult staying on track sometimes because there's lots of nice things out there that you just want to eat. But I don't eat as much sugar at all as I used to. No way. But yeah, so I know what to eat and what makes me feel well. And I know if I eat that, I know exactly how it's going to make me feel.
Fantastic.
So yes, yeah.
And you know exactly what to do. If you do go off the track or you do go off the roads, you know how to get yourself back on path,
Yeah.
which is key.
Of
A
course.
lot of people, they go off that path, they get themselves so far down a rabbit hole, they actually get lost.
Yeah.
And they continue to have that downward spiral. So just quickly touching on the products. Which one of the products do you remember? Do you remember any of the products that you used during that time?
I probably don't remember the names, but I do remember there was a powder, and I had to mix that with water every morning, and that used to make me feel ill, really ill. But it was the one that was working. It was the one that was working. It was a brown powder I can't remember the name of it. I don't know if it was the elixir. It was a detox something. I can't remember the name. It was so long ago.
Yes.
But I think my situation was quite complex. So I wasn't just taking one thing. I had quite a few things that you had supplied me with that I was taking every day. But my favorite was the chia seeds. They worked wonders for me. I love the chia seeds and I still take them to this day.
The fiber shots.
Yeah, I still take the chia seeds. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're so rich in nutrients. They're so rich in all the minerals and amino acids that you need to really build the tissues and build your body. So what advice would you give to somebody who was, you know, who is going through a situation like you were, in terms of how they could bring their health back, you know, on track or online? What advice would you give them based on your experience and your journey?
I think, do you know what? I think if there's people out there and they have got Crohn's and colitis, it's a really complex issue, and it takes a lot of mental strength to be able to switch to this new way of life. And it is quite difficult at first, because what I would say is your bowels need to rest. Your bowels definitely need to rest. So, and your intestines need to rest. So I would say that, so you don't end up in this dark place, because I think before you came along, I was about to have an op where they was going to remove a part of my bowel, a part of my intestines, a part of the inflamed part. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I would just say to people out there, you know, juicing is a really good way, and intermittent fasting, which I do now as well, are really good ways to heal the body. I mean, your body is designed to naturally heal itself, but juicing, intermittent fasting, and just plant-based is a really good way to get your body back on track.
Absolutely. And the plant-based diet is so underrated at the moment, and people are just slowly starting
It's getting better.
Bit by bit, most definitely starting to gather a little bit more momentum. And I'm really happy that we've got people like you as ambassadors and exponents of that whole lifestyle and that journey. And that whole thing about intermittent fasting, it is an amazing regime that people can do and they can adopt. And the benefits are they're so far-reaching. They go right across the board. Lastly, before we bring in our next guest, just quickly tell us a little bit about the scan and the scan that you had and how you found the scan, your initial scan and consultation.
The scan was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. I remember going to the doctors a couple of weeks before I'd seen you, and he was saying your livers, your kidneys, they're not functioning right. And then I remember you putting me on the scan. I think it nearly blew up. There was so many things wrong. I was missing minerals and irons and vitamins, and I think I was just low in so many things. I remember you actually saying to me, "How are you still walking?" Because there was just so much going on with my body, and the scan just showed so much wrong. And it was shocking. It was really shocking, and that I think hit home. It really hit home for me. And I think the problem that I have, not a problem, but the issue sometimes I have now is understanding whether I'm having a flare up or whether it's menopause.
Yes. You mentioned have to balance it too. But that's something that we're definitely going to go into, because I'm definitely going to have you back again, because there's probably things I still yet to ask you and yet to bring out. But we'll definitely have to look at revisiting this conversation again in the future. But thank you so much, Paulette, for your contribution today. Thank you so much for being an advocate and an ambassador of what can be achieved when you embrace the whole plant-based diet and make those lifestyle changes that enable you to put your health back in your hands. So thank you once again, and stick around for questions as well very shortly. So thank you so much, Paul. So that's our first guest, and that's, as I said, that's Crohn's. Crohn's, as I said, is a condition that we've seen how it's affects people's life, how it affects your quality of life, your day-to-day activities, or your ability to do that. And seeing Paulette make that transition from her old ways into these new ways is always a inspiration and hopefully a motivation for those of you who are struggling with some of those same struggles. So now let's quickly move on to our next guest and our next situation, our next condition, which is another condition that's been, highly touted and deemed in the community as an incurable or irreversible disease. In fact, I don't even know how they'll classify as a disease. We're talking about lupus. Lupus is not actually a real disease, because lupus comes from the word, a Latin word, which means wolf. And wolf means it mimics, which means it mimics various different conditions. And our next guest is a overcomer and another very powerful champion and health ambassador and advocate of what can be achieved when you've been diagnosed with lupus, and you take the right action, you take the relevant steps, you get the right information, you get the right advice, and you apply that, and you see how the body has gone from a state of widespread systemic inflammation to a body that is in complete order. And dropping a few pounds or a few stones along the way were like Brucey bonuses. So I'm going to quickly welcome Monica to the stage today. Monica's another fantastic, as I said, exponent. Look at it. In fact, I'm going to show you how she was before. Before I introduce Monica, let me show you how Monica was before, so you can get some understanding of what making those changes can do to your life. This was Monica pre her diagnosis. And when she'd just been at the peak of her lupus and her condition. She didn't know what it was at that time, but this is how she used to look when they gave her the diagnosis. And then when she got her diagnosis, this was her halfway through that journey of taking charge of her health and putting herself and her life back on track. And as you can see, this is the can you see the difference? Can you see the transformation? Can you see the transition from where she was to where she is now? This is living testimony that there is no such thing or disease as incurable diseases, only incurable people. So I celebrate, I salute you, Monica, and I welcome you to the show today. And thank you once again for joining us. Welcome, Monica. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about your journey. I mean, how was things for you, before you got diagnosed? What was happening in your life at that time?
Excuse me. I was just about to turn 18, I think it was, from college to university. Very stressful period for me, the transition. So I was leaving London for the very first time. I was going to Leicester at the time, to De Montfort, to study, I think it was marketing and business. And it's just stressful. So all I remember is ending up in Luton at my friend's accommodation, where they all went to Luton, and my dad being called. So they noticed that I was not being myself. They noticed that I was out of character, and they called my dad. I remember my dad coming to collect me from Luton with another uncle, and then after that, blank. And I say blank because I was hospitalized, unfortunately, and they drugged me so badly with diazepam, so many steroids, that I lost a lot of memory. So at the time, they didn't know it was lupus, because obviously it mimics so many things. Luckily, and I say luckily, at the time, there was a lady who does, the dinner lady that come around with the trolleys and the food. She was Ghanaian. I'm from Ghana, so she was Ghanaian. She took a liking to me and my mum. And this is the story my mum told me. She took a liking to my mum and me, and she was like my guardian angel. So she basically told one of the consultants that this girl, she's okay. There's nothing wrong with her, but check her over again. And she kept doing it. So they checked me and they found out I had lupus to the brain. So from that time, I was discharged from another hospital to another hospital. And yeah, the rest is history. So the diagnosis from that, I was literally at home for like 2 years. I had to leave uni, unfortunately. And I remember always waking up and being in my pajamas. And I remember my brothers were younger at the time. I had an older brother there as well, Jerry. And they would always go to school and see me in my pajamas and come home in the pajamas because I was so depressed. I think I was even mute. I wouldn't talk to people. I was very antisocial. And then the steroids blew me up. So when family or people saw me, because I didn't go out, if they saw me, they thought I had a baby, because that's how big I was. So there's a rumor going around that I had a baby and all sorts and whatever. But yeah, it just basically destroyed my life. And I think having lupus, I became a different person. So the person I was when I was 18 is not who I am today. Like that person had literally died when I got the lupus. So whoever that person was before, I'm not that person today, unfortunately. And I remember I told you I was trying to find myself back then, and I couldn't. I didn't know how to get that person back. But then I embrace who I am now. So
amazing, yeah, amazing. So just fast forwarding to you had that conversation with Elaine. You saw Elaine, and she told you. I think was it that you saw how she looked and actually she lost weight that got your attention?
You know what it was? I've tried so many things. I've done Weight Watchers, I've done Slimming Fast, Slimming World. I did the last one was one-to-one diet, and Elaine did that previously. And I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, she looks amazing. So I messaged her. I said, sis, like, how are you doing? Like, how are you getting all this one-to-one diet? She goes, sis, I left that long time ago. I'm doing detox. You know how Elaine talks. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like, give me the number. And normally I procrastinate. I used to procrastinate a lot. So you give me the number, I'll take too long to call the number. That day she gave me the number, Erin, I called you. And you was like, I haven't got any appointments. I think I haven't got any appointments tomorrow. And I was like, no, I really need to come tomorrow. Like, because I felt horrible. Like I recently lost my brother, unfortunately, last year. That was a big double whammy for me. My body was just not functioning. Everything was just not going okay for me. I didn't look good. I didn't feel good. I wasn't myself, and I knew something was wrong in my body, and I didn't know what it was. But I knew obviously I had lupus, but I didn't know something else was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my you, booked my appointment. I think I paid my deposit online. Yeah, I paid my deposit, I think. And the next day I came. Yeah.
And when you came, so tell us a bit about your experience when you had the scan, because the first thing you had to do was do your scan and do your assessment to understand exactly what's happening internally, what's going on with your organs, what's happening with your vitamins and minerals. Tell us about your experience with the scan.
Well, I cried throughout the whole thing, didn't I?
Quite emotional.
Yeah, it was very emotional because there was things that was coming up that I already knew about myself, but the fact that it was confirming to me this is what I had, I was like, how did you know that? How does that computer know that I've got bad gums? How did the computer know that there's something wrong in my brain? How did it know all this? I was very like, huh? It was confirmation that I had to be there and I was meant to be there. And even the affirmations one, that's what got me as well. A lot of stuff I was going through emotionally, the death that came up, like it said death. I was like, how does it know that? How?
Just for those who are tuning in for the first time, we actually, before we see any client, we have to get a full history of their diet, their lifestyle, their choices. But then we also do a very deep and detailed and thorough examination and investigation through their hand, which is called a bioscan. So we do a body MOT bioscan, which has a conversation with the body through the hand, and the body speaks via the software, and it tells you exactly what's going on with all your organs, your heart, your lungs, your liver, your kidney, your brain, your bowels, your teeth, your gums. Every single organ in the body is reported on, and your body also makes recommendations on what it needs to bring it back into balance. We also look at your emotions, and then once we get your emotions, we can look at how we can balance those emotions with bringing out the right affirmations that are specific to your particular situation. That's how we're able to pinpoint that Monica was struggling with grief, that she lost her brother, because it came up in one of the top affirmations actually was overcoming the loss of a loved one. So the scan actually really helps that. So for those that are not aware, that's one of the first things that we do before we can actually get into the whole program. But let's quickly jump into the program now. So you started the program because you realized it was something you needed to do. You saw that you needed to make the changes in the relevant areas. You saw your body before you, the state that you were in at the time. Tell me a little bit about the program and what was your experience while you were on the program and the use of the products.
Oh my gosh, it was overwhelming, number one, because you gave me a lot of products. You gave me a lot. And I was just like, because I work for myself. I'm a hairstylist. I have my own salon. So I do the school run as well. I have a son who's 8. So the school run is like literally from 8:30. I get to work at 9. I finish about 3:30. How am I going to get all the products in? So I had to wake up 5 in the morning to get at least, I'll do 20 minutes between. So from like 5 till the last one I would have would probably be at 8:30. Do all my drinks for the morning. That was my routine. And the funny thing is, this actually made me very consistent, and I'm not the best at consistency. And I didn't have any sugar. The sugar was not, I was very good. Because I really wanted to change, and I was ready to change. That day, I remember I did that first picture when I was wearing a green outfit. I was like, today is the first day that I'm going to make a change to my life. Because I just had enough. I had enough of feeling very sluggish. And I used to always wear black. This is why I wore red today.
Very nice. Very bright.
My mum always tells me, why are you always in black? So I'm just trying to embrace my body, embrace who I am, and just change everything about me. Food is really helping. Like Paulette, I'm trying to do more plant-based. It's not easy. I haven't changed completely, but I'm making a better lifestyle choices what I'm eating. So now I'm doing more 80-20, so more like 80 throughout the week, Monday to Friday. It's more trying to be on point. And on weekends, I'm going out. It's okay. I can have a drink or I can have whatever. But like you said, you can bring it back. When I know I'm kind of like going off the rails, I'm like, okay, let me go back and just take my drink.
And you got that balance, and now you know what tools to use. You know what products to use if you do go too far off or you do indulge in. You know how to get yourself back on track. So let's talk a little bit about the product. So what was the high point of the program? What was your favorite product? The products that you remember that stood out for you?
Oxyflush.
So I can get them up.
What was it? The Ultra Detox is a good one. What else is there? Oxyflush. Liquid oxygen is actually good. I remember when I if I take liquid oxygen first in the morning and then I take the Ultra Detox, I'm a goner. Like the toilet's just calling me.
If you take
Yeah.
Ultra Detox or Oxy Flush.
If I take liquid oxygen first, and then I take Ultra Detox with the biovitamin, biovitamin.
Accelerator, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that really helps to drive into the cells. It goes in a lot deeper when you take with Accelerator.
I'm gone. So I have to take that first. Those two are the first things I'll take first, and then the rest is just history.
And the Elixir of Life, was that one of your favorites as well?
Yeah. That one's a good one. It's good. Yeah, that one I like that one as well. I even bought one for my mum. My mum buys it as well.
Wow. Yes, Elixir of Life is a very key product. Everyone really likes that because of the fact that it helps to boost the collagen production in the body, which is going to help with your hair. It's going to help with your nails and your hair. I'm sure you saw some hair growth. Did you notice some change in your hair?
I did actually. Yes, I did actually, because I remember before when I'm showering, if I'm washing my hair a lot, I do get quite a lot of hair loss. So quite a few chunks. It's not like a little bit of hair. I get a lot of hair that comes out. It's not so much now, to be fair, but it's better. That's what I'm saying.
So just this picture here now, I was looking at the one where you were the first one. What weight were you here? What was your weight in can you see it? I mean, your first picture, I don't know if you can see it, but the viewers
I was
about
over 20 stone, 20 something stone. I used to wear size 24. My biggest is 24, size 24.
Wow. And what's your weight now and your size now?
With my weight, I actually don't know, but my size, I can do 12 and 14s. But I can do 12 and 14s. So I went to a wedding, surprised me for the first time, and I wore size 12 dress.
Wow. So that's like 5, 6 dress sizes?
Yeah.
Wow.
But with the program, I lost 2 stone. So I started in January, finished in April, and I lost 2 stone. And I was the size probably 16, 18 sometimes in jeans, especially jeans. Now I can wear 14 jeans, depending where it's from, and 12 dresses. And even today, I was going to wear a dress that I bought. And recently, it was big, but it fit okay. It was baggy. I had to wear this instead. So
compared to Paulette, you saw how Paulette was living, in terms of the chocolates and the microwave and the sugar cravings. Did you have a similar type of pathway where you were, eating and trying to almost use food as a crutch, having sugar addictions that you were feeding, or did you have a different experience?
Absolutely, I had the same thing. Like my thing, even now, I'm not gonna lie, coffee. I'm a coffee addict. Yeah, coffee and chocolate. I remember I told you yesterday I had a craving for chocolate. I'm not gonna hide it. Like, I'm very honest. I had chocolate yesterday. I'm a human being. I like my chocolate, but not how I used to, where I can eat 2-3 bars at a time. Like Paulette, I can have crisps, 2 bags, no problem. Those days they come sometimes, but then sometimes you realize how it makes you feel. Because I remember if I have a lot of sugar, I get quite numb in my hands and probably my legs as well. I remember I told you, actually, like in a group chat, like I'm getting a bit of neuro problems at the moment in terms of like my feet are getting numb. I'm getting a lot of pins and needles. And then you told me to do the celery juice. That really helped.
Celery juice, yes, I remember.
No, I didn't. And normally I like honey. I like sweet stuff. I didn't do none of it. Just completely celery juice.
And the celery juice, now, did I tell you to add the coconut water to it as well?
Yeah, I bought coconut water as well. Yeah, no. I did it just separately though. So sometimes I'll drink coconut water in the morning or throughout the day, and then in the mornings I'll do the celery juice. And even my mum does it now, celery juice now.
Oh wow! And the reason why we do that, just for those that are watching and listening, the reason why we recommend when people have neuropathic pain or different types of neuropathy, which is like pain from the brain that's heading up with pins and needles or tingling in the feet or the hands, is because there's going to be some level of deficiency with your electrolytes, which would be your magnesium, your calcium, your phosphorus, your selenium. And once you have any kind of low levels of or depletion of these particular minerals, you're going to find the signal between your brain and your muscles and your nerves are going to be frayed and they're going to be interrupted. So once you start to introduce foods like coconut water, celery juice, these are rich in potassium, these are rich in magnesium, these are rich in selenium, and just introducing those foods into your diet will help to bridge that gap and allow those nerve cells and those pathways to repair themselves, and that way the signals can be conducted a lot more efficiently. So you found you got quite quick relief from introducing that. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. I even told Elaine, I said, get on it. And she was on it now as well.
Amazing. We're gonna have Elaine next week. Actually, we interview Elaine next week. So,
Okay,
just quickly,
good.
what advice would you give to somebody who was, was suffering with lupus or high levels of inflammation, or was in a situation similar to you? What advice would you give to that person who's listening now?
I would say, you know what, don't put the medication down. So I haven't had medication since December actually. And I used to be heavy on ibuprofen, because when you go to GP, they don't know how to handle you. Their main thing is take ibuprofen. I haven't had that since December until now, because of what you've given me. And I'll say to people, definitely go down this route, the natural route, because it actually works. I'm very honest, and I'll just say, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It works, but you have to be consistent, and you have to be ready to change your life. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do it. You have to be mentally ready, because it's a lot of like planning the foods and taking the drinks as well, and the powders. You have to be consistent, because if you don't be consistent, you will not see results. But I saw results in week 2 and 3. Like my trousers were just baggy.
Wow.
Like it works. Like, it does actually work. And I say, look, if you're ready, go for it. Like, it will change your life. People see me all the time. Oh my God, you look amazing. Your skin, you're losing more weight. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm very like modest. I'm like very humble about it. I'm like, oh. But they're like, no, your skin looks really good. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm just detoxing, guys. I'm just taking lifestyle. And they want to know. And I give them the number. But Erin, have they called you?
We've had a few calls. We've had a few people call. We have to always ask them. You get to call, just backtrack and ask them who referred them. But once they book in, we always ask them who referred them first. But make sure you keep, reminding them, because sometimes people do take a little bit of time. They do, they do procrastinate, as you said, to actually come and take that step. But once you've told them, make sure you remind them and follow them up to make sure they actually have done it. Because, like you said, there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and there is an alternative way. They haven't got to be, resigned to that life of ibuprofen for the rest of their days. So that is really, really powerful advice that you've given there. And as you said, make the changes, make the decision, and be prepared to stick to it, because a lot of these things, people may take a stab at it and not realize that you've got to be consistent. In order for you to get the results, you've got to be consistent. Now, you've been on this journey since January. You finished the program, I think, April?
It was April, yeah. I did 3 months.
April, so we're May, June, July, August, September, and you still maintain. So that means you've got the lifestyle change, because we helped you to change your old habits and replace them with new habits. And now those new habits have now become your lifestyle that you're now observing and maintaining going forward. And yes, you're realistic. You do have the odd day where you do, get the odd craving where you want to, maybe have, like you said, you have your chocolate. And if you feel that they have chocolate, you'll have chocolate. It's not going to feel like you're going to be completely denying you, but you're going to make sure that you keep those days to a minimum, and you keep your body in balance by not allowing your parasites to be overfed. Because when you have too much chocolate or have too many sweet foods, you then tend to feed your parasite colonies, which are in your gut. And parasites are part of your microbiome; they're part of your ecosystem of the body. But once you have them in balance, your immune system keeps them in bay, keeps them in check, keeps them at bay. But once you start to feed too many sugars or too many salts or too many savory foods, they start to latch onto that, and they start to rapidly multiply, and you start finding yourself having cravings for those type of foods on an ongoing basis, especially at nighttime. So you're doing your regular cleanses, or you're doing your regular detox, or you're using like your Elixir of Life, is a very, very good product to help with that, because it actually suffocates the parasites. It actually kills parasites off. That's why a lot of people like Elixir of Life, because it really helps to kill them off. So like he said, being consistent and make sure you do your regular cleanses is always going to be a very, very, very good piece of advice. So just lastly, how would you recommend, or would you advise people to maintain, once they've started that journey? How would you recommend they maintain?
Stay within the group. I'm not always vocal in the group, but keep up to date with the group. We have a group chat on what's that platform again? I forgot the platform.
Oh, Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram. So there's a lot of people in there that share their ideas and stuff. I do my own research as well, but just keep buying the products. Buy the products that you need and working for you. And also I'll just keep in contact with you as well. I think when I keep in contact with you, it gives me help to find other alternatives.
Yes.
Rather than going to Boots and buying. I remember I bought all the products from Boots, but then meanwhile I could have got it from you as well. But it depends what it is I'm looking for. But yeah, just just stick to it and be consistent, and be kind to yourself. I think for me, I'm a bit too harsh. So just be kind to yourself. If you want chocolate, have chocolate. If you want coffee, have the coffee. But just be mindful, in moderation.
Moderation, everything in moderation. Fantastic. And that's a great way to end to your presentation this evening. So thank you so much, Monica. Thank you for coming to spend time with us. And thank you for being so candid and being so honest with your views and your situation. And also thank you to Paulette as well for availing yourself this evening to come and share your experience and empower the viewers and the listeners, because it's also going to be available on our podcast. So if you want to get access to today's show, as I said, log on to our Vimeo channel, which is My Healthcare Group, or Vivo Nutrients, or you could also go to askjuicedoctor.com. So that's it for today. We had our two guests, and I'm so happy that they were both able to make it, because I know the rain in London was quite severe, but they were able to weather the storm and be available to come and share with you today. Next week, we're going to be looking at multiple sclerosis. We're going to have Elaine on. Elaine had a very serious case of MS, and it was very debilitating for her that she was barely able to walk, but now she's running, she's up and about, she's going to the gym, and really getting on with her life and enjoying a much higher and better quality of life. And as a result of Elaine's journey, she has spawned so many people that she's referred, and they've all come, including Monica. Monica came as a result of Elaine's fantastic transformation, and now Monica has now become an ambassador, and we are slowly but surely beginning to gather and grow our 1 million health ambassadors worldwide. So help us to grow that community by sharing these videos, sharing these broadcasts, sharing these transmissions. And as I said, next week we're going to have Elaine, who will come and share her story, and it's a very powerful and emotional story. So, be prepared to have your tissues, because it can get a little bit emotional when she starts to share some of the things that she's been through and the things she's overcome in order for her to be such a powerful ambassador. So what's left to do is to thank everyone for tuning in today. If you have got questions, remember to email them in. We're going to try and make sure we deal with the questions. We get the questions in advance. So email them into AskJuiceDoctor. That's AskJuicedr@gmail.com. AskJuiceDoctor@gmail.com, and we'll make sure we do our very best to address and answer those questions in the course of the coming weeks. So thank you once again. It's been our first show. It's been emotional. It's been real, and we've loved it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week.
Natural Health Solutions. Special live guests. Questions and answers. Your health, your life, your future. Thank you for joining. Welcome.
So you want great health, optimum vitality. With health being a global priority and inflation skyrocketing, time and money matter more than ever. So start working smarter, not harder. Introducing OxyFlush by My Healthcare Group. Natural health solutions that provide real results. You see, great health begins in the gut. In fact, the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, said all disease begins in the gut. Over 70% of your immune system is also in the gut, so it's critically important to keep this area in optimal condition. OxyFlush helps quickly remove accumulated waste and associated toxins from clogging up the colon and preventing proper absorption of nutrients beneficial to your health. The impact is felt body-wide as immune cells are freed up to attend to other areas in need of attention. So, working smarter couldn't be easier. Clean your colon, lose weight and show off the healthier you. Powered by My Healthcare Group, makers of OxyFlush.